Options like working as a TA or a RA, where they will offer you in-state resident fees of.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into De-Education. So this is a platform where I bring designers from different aspects to talk about their design education and how their design education has shaped them into better designers. On this episode, we have Neha with us. Hi Neha.
Hi Tej.
So Neha, if you could give a brief about yourself to our viewers out there.
Okay. Hi, I'm Neha. I'm currently a master's in information studies student at the University of Texas at Austin. Prior to this, I have worked for about 5 years in the UX UI field, including 3 years at Infosys. And before that, I have done masters in product design from MIT Institute of Design at Pune. Uh, and my undergrad was in electronics engineering.
That's wonderful, Neha. So what was your journey into design? What made you pursue from engineering to design, again masters, and then now again pursuing a masters at this stage? So what was your journey?
Okay. So while growing up, I wasn't really sure what I want to do. I used to love animated movies. I used to love sci-fi movies. One particular movie that was my favorite was Minority Report, which had all sorts of futuristic technologies like optical recognition systems, voice-controlled interfaces, and autonomous cars, etc. So one thing I wanted to pursue was animation design, but it didn't seem like a very lucrative career option at that time. The other thing I was interested in is psychology, because I still also like psychological thrillers. I'm glad my father made the decision for me. He was like, do engineering first, and then you can decide what you want to do later. So I ended up studying electronics engineering, which was still fine because I was like, I get to understand the technology behind all these applications. But towards the end of engineering college, when the companies were coming for recruiting, most of them were IT based companies, and I somehow couldn't see myself in a 9 to 5 coding job. So, luckily, at that time, a friend's father told me about IDC at IIT Bombay, the Industrial Design Center. And at that time, the students, the final year students, were also showcasing their the final year projects. So I went over, I talked to a couple of students there, and yeah, I tried to research online, tried to get a feel of the design space in India. I also joined a class to help me prepare for the design entrances. And I gave the design entrance for NID, IDC, and MIT. And I got a call for interview at MIT. And eventually I got through and I studied product design there. Um, so yeah, after that, I was working for a startup as a UX designer. I mean, I liked what I was doing at that time because it seemed to combine my love for creativity and even my interest in psychology into some extent. Um, but there were also these new technologies that were coming up, like AR, VR, and then you have AI infused products that are consuming your data and learning and adapting on their own. I felt like I I felt saturated where I was at that time, and I felt the need to go back to school and learn about all these new technologies.
Thank you so much, Neha, for taking us through your wonderful journey. So let's talk about your master's program and how did you prep up for that and what are the various things that you did as an international student?
So one was I wanted to do a master's in human computer interaction. So I looked up colleges for that in the US. I had shortlisted a few, and so the ones that I had shortlisted was UT Austin. The second one was Bentley. Third one was San Jose's Human Factors program. So yeah, so there were these three universities that I had shortlisted: admit from Bentley and UT Austin. The reason why I chose UT Austin was for the location, because Bentley is in Boston and it's really cold. And Austin, I mean, it's a warm city, but it is being called the next Silicon Valley, and you have all these awesome companies here. So I thought it would provide me a good internship opportunity. And I had looked up some of the professors, and the thing is, I had seen this TED talk by Bettina Warburg. She's a blockchain researcher and entrepreneur, and she's one of the visiting faculty over here. She takes this class where you get to work on projects from idea to the implementation. So yeah, so a lot of visiting faculty over here are very cool, and so I thought this would be a good place to learn. Hmm.
Thank you so much, Neha. So, what was your pre-preparation in
Mhm.
terms of like what are the different exams you wrote, and once you got your I-20, what was the process with the visa office and other things that you could talk about?
Okay, sorry, I got a bit distracted over there while talking about universities. So yeah, going back to the process, I shortlisted the universities. I went up to the onto the websites and tried to understand what their requirements are. Usually, it's GRE and TOEFL, so I prepared for those. Once I got the score, then you have to prepare the SOP. So yeah, then you submit all this to the universities. They they get back to you whether you have been shortlisted, uh, and then so once the universities get back to you, you have to send across a financial statement that shows that you can support your own education for at least 1 year, including the living expenses. So uh, I got some bank statements of my parents and sent those to the universities. Once the university approves that, they send you the I-20. So once you have the I-20, you have to schedule the visa appointment. So that's what I did. I That's a really complicated process where you have to keep logging into the website and keep checking the slots that are available. And because I think a lot of people are booking their slots at the same time, it keeps getting updated every second. So yeah, oh, you have to spend some time every day doing that. Once you get your visa appointment, yeah, you just have to go over there. You have to have your financial statements with you. And over there, they'll ask you questions like, why do you want to pursue a master's? What are your plans after you finish your master's? And usually the ideal response to this is whatever learnings you have gained over there, you will be coming back to your country and taking up a job here and implementing that over here.
Thank you, Neha. So, let's talk about your journey in UT Austin and how was your semester in this COVID period, and was it an hybrid model, or are you going to college, or what was it all like?
Okay, so yeah, been told we had been told a couple of classes would be hybrid, but that has not been possible because of the ongoing COVID situation. Um, Otherwise, the classes that have been going on virtually, we have been having a lot of group projects. So there's a lot of interdisciplinary learning that is happening. Like for example, I'm taking this course called Human AI Interaction. So I'm in a team where two of the students are from the robotics department. So I get to learn a lot about machine learning and computer vision. And in the class, we are also understanding AI ethics, understanding public perception about AI being used in day-to-day products that you use, and how you should be taking care of all this while designing products for people. So yeah, it has been very exciting.
So, how was the experience like studying online, something like a design thing? Because design is much more like collaboration and in person sort of learning. So, how was your learning
Mhm.
through this online model?
I think it has been very interesting, and uh, it's a huge learning experience also. We have been using collaborative tools like Figma and Miro for that. We also conducted remote user interviews. Um, so yeah, we have been able to carry out all sorts of UX processes.
Thank you, Neha. If you could share some insights on information studies.
Program at UT Austin. It was originally a library science program, which they have eventually developed to become information studies, where you basically understand how you organize information, how you structure it so that it can become usable and can be absorbed or used, utilized by people. Uh, Something that we know of is information architecture, making information findable and usable by people. So it's they're still developing the program, and they offer a lot of different focuses like user experience and research. Then there's data science, human centered data science, and there's health informatics, etc., etc. And they also offer a lot of flexibility in the terms that you can take courses from other departments, which was also one of the reasons why I chose this, because as I told you earlier, I have always had varied interests like visual arts, psychology. So I plan to take some courses from the psychology department and some from the business school also, because at this stage I feel the need to understand that aspect as well.
Thank you, Neha. So let's talk about the communities and the various other clubs over there to support Indian students. And how was your experience as an international student at UT Austin?
So I haven't really made an effort to see if there are in India specific clubs, but I have been trying to look up clubs like related to entrepreneurship or strategy, uh, because I want to develop my career in those on those lines. And I tried applying, but at this stage, I haven't yet been approved for those clubs. So maybe next semester.
That's great, Neha. So let's talk about the economics and how much fee you paid and the other
Mhm.
costs of living and anything that you could help the young viewers with.
Okay, the fees is about $9,000 per semester. But UT Austin offers a lot of options like working as a TA or a RA, where they will offer you in-state resident fees, or they might also drastically reduce your tuition fees, and you're also offered stipends. So that helps you a lot as an international student over here. But you have to take a lot of effort. You have to keep mailing professors. Is there a TA ship available? Get you get accommodation around here for about $450 to $500. Um, the food and all can come to about 100 to $150 depending on how much you like, if you're ordering meals from outside. So it's always nice to cook your own meals because it saves you a lot of money.
That's a
And
nice tip, Neha. And in terms of college fee, also, it's quite economical per semester, 9K. So thanks for throwing light on that. So let's
Mhm.
conclude the show by you comparing yourself to Neha while she was in engineering and now after doing 2 masters in design. What is a major difference that you see in yourself?
One would be in engineering, I had this very closed set of view of the world. And even when I went to design college, I thought I was doing something really fancy and something very different from engineering. But now at this stage, I realize uh, being a designer is basically being a mediator. You consume all sorts of information, and then you have to uh, present it in such a way that all stakeholders involved in a project, or stakeholders involved in delivering a solution, you should be able to present the information in such a way that all the stakeholders can understand that silos you yeah, you it's a very collaborative thing that you do, and there's nothing fancy about it. I realize.
That's wonderful, Neha. Thank you so much for sharing all these wonderful insights with us. And viewers, you could reach out to Neha if you are planning to go to UT Austin or any terms of doubt in terms of pursuing IS as a course. I'll be attaching her IG in the link on the description below. Thanks for your time once again, Neha.
Thanks for having me. Oh, nothing specific.